Before the Snaps game of the week is BYU at Texas Tech in Week 11. Which team is facing more pressure to win when it comes to the Big 12 as well as the college football playoff race?
So I'm going to cop out here, and I'm going to say both because BYU did this same thing last year. It started fast, faded late in November. I think they got to prove that they can sustain here in the month of November, where these are, of course, the games that we remember. And I think Texas Tech, just simply because of all the money that's been poured into that program, the fact that they are at the top of the standings, they are the top of everything with the Big 12 right now. They're the Big 12's best hope. I think there's a lot of pressure on them as well because also they're playing at home. I think both these guys really need a win, and it's unique to each team.
I think there's more pressure on Texas Tech. Part of the reason why is because this program has been through such a long drought of there are a lot of years where they were right around 500 or a little below 500. This is hands down the best team they've had since the end of the Michael Leach era. We're talking, 17 years ago since, for example, ESPN's College Game Day was on campus. That's the last time that happened. Last time the team had double-digit wins, 2008. And as Matt alluded to, there's been so much made of how much Tech invested in the roster, but also just in facilities. With a $242 million football facilities project that opened last year. They're very much in win now mode. They kind of put all their angles in one basket. And as for BYU, I kind of see them as they sort of established themselves because, again, they were 9-0 last year and 8-0 this year. And I think what they've done with a freshman quarterback after the disruption that you had with the Jake Retzloff situation, I think whatever they do kind of after this point is sort of gravy or a bonus because I'm surprised to see them. I think still undefeated at this point. And I think so I don't think they're quite under as much pressure to win and finish strong.
On paper, Texas Tech has the better team. Matt, what do you think BYU has to do to get the road win here?
They got to run the ball. I mean, it's as simple as that. And it starts with the quarterback named Bear. How can you not like a quarterback named Bear who wears number 47? Bear Bachmeier's a big part of that run game. So is LJ Martin, obviously. BYU can throw with efficiency because they can run the ball. But if you make them one-dimensional and you stop that run, which Texas Tech has done over and over against teams, then I think you're putting Bear Bachmeier and that pass offense into a situation where all of a sudden, they've got to throw the ball and they've got to throw to win. And then you got David Bailey coming off the edge. And that's a dangerous place to be for the BYU offense. And if Texas Tech can run the ball like they have all season, I think that's the most underrated aspect of this team. They're running for almost 200 yards a game. Everybody thinks of Texas Tech as this, high-flying pass offense. They run the ball. They're a very physical team. And to me, the running game is going to be the key for both teams.
Yeah, Matt, is freshman Bear Bachmeier up to that task for BYU's offense? He doesn't have a ton of experience, but has played very well this season so far.
It's a great question. I mean, it's clearly going to be his most difficult test. There's no doubt about that. It's the most difficult test for that entire team. He's a tough cat, man. He's a tough, willing runner. But the idea of him throwing the ball in a situation where he's constantly in 3rd and 7, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 11, if they can't run the ball, that's going to be a difficult ask for him. With that loud environment, the pass rush that Texas Tech has, the way Tech covers in the back end, that will be a difficult ask for that team.
On the other side, Don, what's the key to winning for Texas Tech against BYU?
Well, I was asked that question last week when Texas Tech went to Kansas State, where they hadn't won since 2008. And the first thing I said was keep their quarterback in the game because there have been 4 games this year where Texas Tech's starting quarterback had to come out with a significant injury and didn't finish the game. It's happened 3 times with Baron Morton, and then Will Hammond suffered a season-ending injury during his start a couple of weeks ago. So keep the quarterback on the field would be the first thing. And then beyond that, I think it's just keep doing what they've done all year. And really, this is a team that has only hasn't really encountered much adversity because eight wins, and they've won all 8 games by at least 23 points. And, they're only really close down to the wire game was the one that they lost at Arizona State. And that was just a fantastic 2-minute offensive display by Sam Levitt and Jordan Dyson. So the thing about Texas Tech is they can beat you in so many different ways because the offense has a lot of weapons, both receiver and at running back, and then the defense. The defense has really been their calling card just because their front seven has been so outstanding with David Bailey, with Romello Height on the opposite edge. Their defensive tackles have really, they're number one in the nation in run defense. And then, of course, Jacob Rodriguez is the guy who gets most of the attention because he has 7 forced fumbles and nearly 80 tackles.
Does Texas Tech need this win against BYU, or could it make the playoff with 2 losses if both those losses are slim?
It's really hard for me to say and to calculate. I would say Texas Tech doesn't need to go flirting with how many losses it can get into the college football playoff with, because you look at it in the Big 12 standings, and there's BYU undefeated, Texas Tech and Cincinnati with 1 loss each, and then you have 4 teams behind them that are 2 losses. And so if you drop into that 2-loss territory, then it becomes very much kind of guesswork on can you make the Big 12 championship game. And I think if you have 2 losses and you don't make the Big 12 championship game, with the way the Big 12 is viewed, I think it becomes really iffy whether you can get into the CFP. So I think from a Texas Tech standpoint, they need to win this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think both these teams need to win. They need to win the Big 12 because I don't think it's going to be a one-team bid to the CFP for the Big 12. I don't see the Big 12 getting 2 teams. So if you're getting in from the Big 12, you've got to win that conference championship game, which means you got to get to that game. So this game is critical for that for both teams.
BYU at Texas Tech, who wins and why?
I would say Texas Tech wins. I've been kind of in an awkward situation this year because I feel like I sound like a homer because I've been kind of picking Texas Tech every week, and which is very unusual because this is a program that hasn't had a lot of success. But kind of subscribe to the old, Jimmy Johnson back in the years when the Dallas Cowboys were winning big. They always had great defensive lines. And then the Philadelphia Eagles, it seems like when it comes to draft time, that they've been fortifying their defensive line and their front seven, and we see what the Eagles have done. And that's really what Texas Tech did last year in college football free agency. They signed an entirely new defensive line. All 4 starters are new. They lost one of the starters. They replaced him. They lost Skylar Gill-Howard. One of the starters was a transfer. They replaced him with another defensive lineman, A.J. Holmes from Houston, who's been really just as good. I just think Texas defense has been so good and so steady this year that it gives the team a bigger margin for error. Plus the fact they're playing at home, they have game day here. This is a place where the environment when the team is going well is really is really amped up and pretty hostile. And so I think it's going to be a big challenge for BYU and for particularly a freshman quarterback in Bear Bachmeier. So I see Texas Tech winning.
Yeah, I think Don broke it down really well, but I will also just say this. You look at Texas Tech right now, they look like an SEC team on the defensive line and the offensive line. That's where the games are won, the line of scrimmage. And that's where this thing will be won. They'll stop BYU's run game. They'll force them to throw the ball, which they're not really that adept at doing. And then Tech will just wear them down. I actually see this team to be a 10, 14, 17-point win for them, like going away, actually, like pretty much all the other ones they've done this year.